The people of Europe in the 18th century were quite used to the life of luxury. The men wore white cotton linen shirts with lace-edged ties, sleeveless waistcoats, long overcoat satin knee breeches, silk hose with garters. The skirts of the waistcoat stuck away from the hips. Knee breeches were tight to the legs. The fabric for their clothes was brightly colored with elaborate designs. They also wore frock coats and wigs with three-cornered hats. They had buckled shoes to go with their outfits as well. The peasant men wore much less well-designed clothing made of cotton or wool. The women of the time had bright dresses made of stiff silk with bright strips and designs. These had bows, ruffles, and lace. The dresses often were made to appear bigger, with hoops at the hems of the skirts. They also made their waists appear smaller by wearing incredibly tight corsets and bodices with whalebone and very low-cut fronts so their breasts would show quite a bit. Sometimes they tucked little scarves into their cleavage as modesty pieces. By the end of the 18th century, though, the girls lost their elaborate gowns and they wore plain cotton dresses instead. The people of this time had very nice houses. The rich built expensive, luxurious country houses and had upholstered furniture and exquisite clocks. The poor were much less fortunate and had small houses that weren't very weather durable and had very few rooms. There were anywhere from 1 to 3 rooms in these houses. The furniture they had was poor quality and it was simple. The roles of the people during this time has also changed from the way we are today. Women, for example, seemed like their main role was to sit and look pretty. Girls from wealthy families went to boarding schools, but they didn't go to university because they weren't allowed to have professions at the time. At this time, jobs also required quite a bit of physical strength, so women were not wanted. The women who did worked as spinners, tailors, milliners, washerwomen, midwives, and milkmaids. During the 17th century, children wore small versions of adult outfits, but in the 18th century they changed into loose cotton clothing for a more practical attire. If you came from a wealthy family, then you'd have a tutor, know how to read, and know how to do basic arithmetic, so you could go to university. Girls learned the basics of arithmetic, reading, and writing, but then they would go to finishing schools where they would learn how to be proper ladies instead of continue to get an education. The people of modern-day Canada are much different from the people of 18th century Europe. For example, there is not really a set normal for outfits today. Anyone can wear anything they want to. You can wear dresses, high heels, flats, runners, boots, jeans, sweatpants, yoga pants, leggings, dress pants, suits, tuxedos, dress shoes, shirts, sweaters, flip-flops, khakis, shorts, skirts, burqas, jackets, parkas, mitts, gloves, toques, scarves, tank tops, crop tops, capris, and more. In today's fashion, we also have a tendency to follow pop culture references. In the picture, 2 of the models are wearing shirts that reference to movies, which are Star Wars and Marvel films. Our society today has also changed quite a bit. Now, you can get a job no matter what your religion, race, or sex is. Everyone can also look forward to an education in pretty much every profession. The role of a child today is just to go to school and learn good morals so you can go into university and get a good job. Our housing also ranges today. There are mansions, cabins, trailers, 2-story houses, and shacks, but the most common form of housing seems to be the classic bungalow. The 18th century Iroquois were much different from both of these groups. In the summer, they wouldn't wear any clothes at all. They would stay naked other than having their genitals covered by a breechcloth. In winter, they would make a large patch out of multiple animal skins and wear it like a blanket with leggings and tunics. For shoes, they would use a piece of deerskin that was sewed up at the heel. They had beadwork on their clothes for decoration. Moccasins were also made of corn husks. The women wore cloth that came halfway down their leg and a petticoat underneath, so that they wore pieces of cloth on the top half of their bodies. Children up to the age of 12 often were stark naked in the summer. The Iroquois people lived in longhouses that were exactly as they were named, really long houses. They resembled barns or shops because they were long and thinner. The roles of the children varied depending on your gender. Boys had to learn how to hunt different animals with bows and snares, and they had to learn to clear farmland. Girls learned how to plant and harvest crops, gather plants for eating and medicinal purposes, and they had to learn how to make leggings, tunics, moccasins, and other clothes for the winter months. They decorated these clothing with intricate beadwork that contained shells, quills, beads, and feathers. Children also learned many spiritual things. The boys would often go on vision quests to speak with their spirit guide when they were in their teen years.